Hello and welcome to the Ethanol Producer Magazine podcast. I'm your host, Anna Simet. We are here live at the International Fuel Ethanol Workshop in St. Louis. With me, I have Chelsa Oren, Director of Ethanol and Biodiesel Services at EcoEngineers. Chelsa, hello and welcome.
Hi. Thank you so much for having me.
I'm so happy to have you here, and I wanted to say, first of all, congrats on being a finalist for Women in Ethanol.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Nice
very
honor.
special.
Yes.
Let's begin, Chelsa, having you tell us a little bit about EcoEngineers and then what it is that you guys do.
Yeah, so EcoEngineers is a consulting and auditing company based out of Des Moines, Iowa. We've got a little less than 100 people. We work across a variety of sectors, different regulations with different fuels, going from, the state LCFS programs, the federal programs in the United States to European Union, Europe, Asia, all of those. And then fuel types as well. So ethanol, RNG, hydrogen, sustainable aviation fuel. Again, doing consulting and auditing. Really anything carbon related, we're here to help, trying to, make the complex nature of these regulations and things fit in a nice little neat package where you can understand them. So.
You guys do a really good job.
Oh,
with
thank
it.
you.
So, yeah,
Thank you.
yeah, help people like me understand. Okay, so Chelsa, can you share some of the common questions that you're getting right now in the biofuel industry?
Yeah, no, that's a good question. So I would say one of the most common questions I get is the concept of RNG within ethanol plants.
Yeah.
One of the things that, helps me out is I work with RNG fuels as well, so I can kind of bridge those gaps with talking to RNG producers about ethanol producers and then ethanol producers about RNG producers. But one of the common questions I get is, hey, we're talking to an RNG producer, should we do it? Like it's a very open-ended question on should I do it. There's a lot that goes into it, what are you trying to do? What's your goal? What markets are you going into? How are you getting the RNG there? And, I have a list of like 10 questions that whenever I get that question, I ask them, and a lot of the times they don't have answers to those questions. So it's just, it's a harder concept to understand of, what all actually goes into putting RNG into an ethanol plant and how to monetize that.
Right.
So, yeah.
And can you guys help them answer those questions?
Absolutely. A lot of it is, they kind of need to know what their plan is too, right? So It's not one of those like, should we do this? It's like, well, what's your game plan? What do you want to do? What markets do you want to get to? What is your backup plan? One of the other things too is a lot of people, the RNG market's very different than the ethanol market. And, some of these producers are like, oh, well, we'll just take the RNG and, we'll put it into the pipeline ourselves if we don't need it at our ethanol plant. And that is, opening a different can of worms. The RNG market is saturated. Like, there's no offtake for it. It's very hard to put RNG into the market as a producer. I have, clients that can't find offtake. So trying to, when an ethanol plant comes to me and says that, I was like, no, like, we can talk about it. It's not probably feasible, but it's just like some of that stuff where the markets are very different. So, but absolutely we can help them navigate that, give them questions on what to ask for when you're talking to these guys. I want to bridge the gap and help both of them because I have clients on both sides. It's just, how do we make this work for both people?
Right,
So,
that makes sense.
Yeah.
Great answer. Okay. What is one opportunity that EcoEngineers is seeing in industry or markets?
I would say one of the big opportunities I see, I know everybody's focused on 45Z right now, right? Everybody's talking about 45Z.
Yep.
This morning, everybody's talking about it, multiple sessions, 45Z. I like to think long-term, bigger picture. These ethanol plants have been around 20, 30 plus years, right? 45Z isn't, it might be around for longer, it might not, right? So I try to think, okay, what's next? What's after 45Z? One of the things that we've been following is the LCFS market, the California market, and they have a compliance change coming where the compliance curve is going to get steep rather quickly. And so when I was doing some numbers and like kind of looking into the future, I think it was Q3 2025, the average ethanol going into California was like 59 CI points. By 2035, if you have a CI like, I think it's 47 to 50, and higher, you're going to earn deficits. So some of these ethanol plants that right now ship under a 58 CI, or really anything, higher up until I think it's 87, you earn credits. But now by 2035, if you have a CI score above 4750, you're going to start earning deficits, which is a very different concept than what we know and what we're talking about. So one of the things that I'm seeing is the outlook is, how are you going to position yourself for 2035 and shipping into California, because it's going to be competitive. People are going to want the low CI ethanol. They're going to want they're not going to want to have to pay deficits, right? So it's a whole new thing that I don't think we're talking about enough. I know it's not.
I haven't heard it.
Yeah,
so.
and it's not now, right? It's 2035. Again, 45Z is the hot topic, but again, looking past 45Z, what's next? So being able to understand those markets, what's coming, how to position yourself to be ready, be proactive, not reactive.
Yeah,
so,
that's smart.
Yeah.
Okay, so what is one thing that's underestimated regarding low carbon opportunities in biofuels?
One thing I would say is CI modeling and understanding your regulations. So a lot of the times, I can make a CI model do a lot of things. I can make it a low CI, I can make it a high CI. You can change parameters. But the thing I think is important to understand is, does the regulation allow for you to do that? So making sure that whatever inputs you're putting into the calculator or the concepts you're trying to address, how does the model affect that, and does the regulator going to approve that? Is the verifier going to agree with the claims that you're making? So I think that's one thing, is just making sure, one, you're using the right CI model, because of course all these programs have to have different CI models, because that's just how it is. And then just making sure that how you're treating that model could be different across the board with the different programs. So just making sure that you're following the regulations and doing things that align with that regulation. So I think it's important to understand, because we get asked, well, can you just get me a CI? And one of my first questions is, what market are you going into, right? What are you trying to accomplish? And sometimes it's just like, well, we just need a CI. And so it's trying to talk about, okay, what program, what are you looking to do? Where are you sending your fuel? Because I want to help you, but it's just trying to understand what their game plan is. Because unfortunately, a GREET 4.0 score doesn't get you into Canada. So just trying to understand, what that is.
Yeah. Okay. So, Chelsa, what should biofuels producers be doing right now to position themselves for the future?
I think this goes back to my concept of being proactive, not reactive. I'm a very proactive person, where, starting to think about the California market, what's next after 45Z, how can you position yourself to get that lower CI, having those talks to those regulators on, can I change X, Y, and Z? Those conversations take years. So if you want to do something to, you have a certain chemical or you have a technology that you want to lower your CI, starting to have those conversations now and getting in front of the regulators and proving your case, essentially, is something that I would want anybody to do right now. Because again, come 2035, when some ethanol plants could start earning deficits, not credits, you can't start the conversation there, because it's going to be years. So starting now, coming up with the game plan, thinking long term, how are you going to do this, is pre-planning. I'm a planner. I like planning. I'm a mom. I'm plan everything. So just being more proactive, not reactive. That's my, I think, biggest piece of advice.
It seems far away, but it's going to come fast, right?
It does. Yes, it's going to be here before we know it. And that's the thing is, 45Z, great. I love it. But it's just, I think everybody's so laser focused on it, not trying to take eyes off of it, but trying to think big picture,
Yep.
So
I love it. Okay. So, last question. What are you excited to see happen in 2026 for biofuel producers?
A lot. I'd say one of the biggest things that I'm excited for is the RVOs to be announced for 2028 and beyond. They really drive industry. They drive value. They drive RIN price. They drive a lot of things, right? So being able to have clarity, being able to understand what does that look like, being able to, kind of forecast and model volumes and the potential. I'm a nerd when it comes to markets and forecasts and things like that, so I could talk for hours on RIN pricing and what
I think
that
you're in the
looks
right
like.
job then.
Yeah. So I think that's one thing I'm just really looking forward to is just seeing what those are. Obviously, with multiple, elections taking place this year, I'm interested to see how, that takes place as much as, politics are a thing. So it's just trying to understand what that dynamic's going to look like, how it's going to be. So I'm hopeful, but I'm excited to see what those are and start nerding out on some numbers. So.
Well, awesome. Chelsa, anything else you want to add before we wrap up?
No, thank you for having me. I think, again, my last thing is proactive, not reactive, and sometimes it's a scary concept. I know things are new, things are different, it hasn't been done yet.
Yeah.
But, starting to have those conversations early, I think is going to be key in success with getting the lower CI fuels and getting to where you want to go and having those conversations early, not later, because it takes time. Regulators move slow, so starting that now. So
no doubt. Okay, well, thank you so much, Chelsa.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Very great discussion, and to our viewers, start thinking about the future. This is your girl. Reach out to her, Chelsa Oren of EcoEngineers. Hope you enjoyed this episode. Until next time.
Thank you.